This is the Shawn Yankey Show.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack.
This episode of the Shawn Yankey Show is being brought to you by the support of viewers like me. We realize the importance of independent media and truth in this time of mass deceit and propaganda. We have decided to fight for and support it to keep it alive. You can help us in this fight for truth. Contribute at patreon.com/Shawn Yankey. Thanks for coming to the show. It'll begin soon.
Hey everybody, get in here. It is time again for the Shawn Yankey Show. I am Shawn and this is the Shawn Yankey Show. So you are in the right place at the right time, no matter where you're at or when you're watching or listening to it. We're also a podcast. We are everywhere. We put this everywhere. But live right now, we are on Rumble, on Facebook, and YouTube. Wherever you're at, participate in the show because this is a live discussion-driven chat show. We have a discussion every night based around the comments in the live show, and I always have a theme and an agenda planned. For instance, tonight is Thursday. On Thursday nights at the Shawn Yankey Show, we do rants. It's rant night. So that's what I'll be doing as far as getting things going, but then we'll have a discussion, as we always do, and it could go anywhere. So let me say hi to all the live viewers, but hello to anyone seeing this later on as well. A lot of our views come after the live, and as I said, now we're a podcast. So if you're listening later on, hello to you as well, and take part. If you ever want to catch a live, though, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. So hey, Joan, Lee, how are you? What's up, Danon? I saw Danon did another live stream today. Danon started live streaming. This just started happening. I guess it's going to be a regular thing. I guess she's got the bug. I haven't had a chance to watch today, so I don't know what they discussed. The part I caught, she was talking about a really pretty cross. I don't know. We'll see, man. More to come, I guess. May have to give you a show on the Shawn Yankey Show channel. You know I want to bring in other creators. When we eventually get to our home, our ultimate goal of the website, that's where we want this to be hubbed out of. And we'll still go to these other places, put it everywhere we do, but we want to have that be our home. You know, a lot of these other people are launching similar things so that they can talk about even a lot of what's going on, because you're not allowed. But that's where we're heading. And we'll be there eventually. Maybe Dana will have a show. Who knows? But the Midnight Rider needs to come back, and other people. We're gonna build all that though, and do that together as we have everything else. Let me finish saying hello though. Samuel's here. What's up, Samuel? Samuel's getting diamond hands. Dolores, how are you? Dale, good to see you, man. Hey, Tracy. All right. So let me see what we got on Rumble. Hey, Milan, how are you? Night Owl, nice to see you guys. And thank you for saying that. Invite your friends, Night Owl. Share. We're brand new on Rumble, so help us grow there. I hear good things, and I want it to take off. I want to really help build it, and we're invested in it. So let's do that. Share it and subscribe. Check out our Rumble. If you've never been over there, go look at it. We're now there. All right. So there we go. I think I got everybody. Hey, Shawn, how are you? Good to see you here. There's a lot we're going to get into tonight, as always. Like I said, I've got stuff picked out, but whatever you want to get into, bring it up. Let me know in the comment section, and we'll get into that stuff as well. But I had a weird day. A lot of funny stuff was happening today. You know, it's funny when you start observing more in life than interacting, you know, and just paying more attention to everything that's going on. Because a lot of it doesn't even require you participating in it. So I do that a lot. I just view things from afar. And like the management where I work, for instance, is just letting everything fall apart. And I just think it's funny. I used to think it was sad. I used to get personally and emotionally involved. Now I'm just observing it and watching it fall apart from afar as if a TV show. You know, like a lot of this stuff going on around us. I started to view it as entertainment. Hey, Dion, how are you? Been seeing a lot of older faces coming back. I'm glad to see that. You know, I know the life gets in the way and we get busy, but every time I lose one of you guys or haven't seen you in a while, I get worried. As I make up lives for you in my head, you have imaginary existences. Kathy, though, is just a fig Newton of my imagination anyway. But thank you to everybody here and everybody here at the new home on Rumble, and for hitting like and share and Rumble over there and whatever. All that really helps us a lot. Sharing is caring. We're just a little independent show, and that really does help us. And other ways that help us, if you want to support the show and help us grow, you can find those at theshawnyankeyshow.com under support us. But sharing, liking, and commenting all help a whole lot during the live video itself. It really does. So hit them things for sure. Don't forget. Hey, Moletta. Yeah, damn fig Newtons. Well, that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to complain about whatever, anything that you want. Well, let me go ahead and get us officially started with our theme tonight. Because I got some stuff I want to talk about, and then anything at all. We'll go anywhere you guys want, as always. Now, honestly, there is just so much to be angry about that it is hard to know where to start. But it's Thursday night, and on Thursdays around here, we rant. So I've got a few things on my mind to start us out. And as always, I want to hear from you as well, and we'll discuss all of this together and get it all out tonight. Clear our minds and get ready for Friday night. Tomorrow night on the show, Nick Stinson will be back. That's our guest tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation with Nick, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun. So we're going to vent and get our frustrations out about whatever's bothering you. So let me know whatever's on your mind. For me personally, I am actually at this point past being mad with so much of this nonsense that's going on in the world that it's now mostly all just sad to me. It really does just bum me out whenever I am forced to pay attention to it, really look at it. Like, for instance, to prepare for Monday night, for news night, when I actually have to comb through it all. It's sad to me. Or when you deal with it in your real life, that's sad as well. You know, people that are convinced by it and brainwashed by it and being controlled by it is all very sad anymore. I want this nightmare to end, basically. I think we all do, but we won't just fucking end it already. That's frustrating me. That I am getting angry about. We know what's going on, and we know where it's all heading as well, but are we really stopping it? We're exposing it. We've exposed the shit out of it, man. People talk about it, and they're telling people important information, but that's been going on a long time. And there's been quite an awakening led by that. It's time to do more. It's time to really stop it. We know what it is. We know how it operates. We know the tools of it, the inner workings. Man, some of us are just short of being at meetings and stuff. You know what I mean? We know how it plays out, but we also know what empowers it, what makes it strong. We know how to fight it, but we don't unite to fight it. And we're going to get into the current distractions and fear propaganda. Sorry. And the fear propaganda campaigns that are going on in just a bit. I don't want to. At this point, really, it just seems like a shitty, poorly made B-movie version of a book that I've already read and know the ending of. But we do need to discuss it a bit, and we will. I just have trouble getting angry about the puppets that are playing mind games with humanity at this point. You know, these stuffed suits that they parade as leaders, or the stuffed suits and actors delivering the information to the people. Whichever group, they kind of bore me at this point. I just see them for what they are. You know, they do what they do, and they are who they are, and they just continue to do the same things that they've always done. And it's hard to be mad at them. They're motivated by what motivates that type of person, and they're sought out. Because they're that type of person, it's a circle, and it just exists until the system is eliminated. And that's why, though, I am starting to get a little mad at us. And we'll discuss all the issues in just a bit in more detail. But can we please just once and for all finally get it that it's all just theater? All of it. Every single bit. I think that deep down we know this. We know the methods and the motives used of those enslaving the masses. But even then, we still get fucking lost in it. We still get pulled in and divided by it. Whether by our good nature or whatever reason, we allow ourselves to be distracted and split into teams by shit that doesn't even matter and has no real effect on things, big picture. That's really awful, you know, or lost in a piece of it and stuck there. You can't move forward or just pick it up and carry it forward onto a larger agenda. Or, and really this is even worse, we get lost in personal pride and stuck for that reason, you know, whether it's that you can't accept a new belief because it contradicts everything you've built all your shit on, or whatever reason. You're just too proud to move forward, do the things we need to do, and take the roles we need to take, and all of this. And that is what keeps us weak and divided and unable to stop this, which we could do if we were able to unite. And that is what really does make me angry. So what's happening, really, I find sad at this point. And I don't get revved up much by it. Hell, most of the time I pay no attention to it, really. But this other bullshit I see for what it is, and I've just made peace with it. So to me, at this point, it's kind of more of an annoying static that I've mostly eliminated from my life, and you should too. But like I said, we're going to get into some of it. And the first subject, of course, is the juice. And since this is a forbidden topic on 2 of our live platforms, we speak about this fear propaganda campaign in code. You know, we can't just outright say the things that we need to talk about, but a lot of frightening things are happening behind that, you know, including a third juice and people being mandated, not forced yet. I hate when people bicker about the little details of how you're being coerced, but through financial means, through choosing to leave the job they've been at a very long time, maybe even really love and are good at and find rewarding because they won't do a medical procedure. These things are real, and it just, I wish we could stop talking about them, but it's going on. Like, they're rushing through special approvals, I saw, to continue this testing on children and trying to go even younger and younger. Now, I know that I'm not going to do it. I know that people I love, thankfully, none I know of are going to do it. And I can't stop the ones that are. I get all those things. So for a lot of people, they're like, that's why we could probably stop talking about it. You just can't, though, because, again, I get it. I get pulling away from all that. But it will drag you down. It's what they're using to empower it all and drive it forward. So I agree with that. And like I said, I know I'm talking and preaching to the choir about that topic in here. But these restrictions, they're getting this stuff done behind a bullshit fear agenda that is fake and made up. The whole thing, they outright admit to you, for instance, that they can't even test for this shit. And then tell you there's variants. And then, as more and more information is released, you start finding out that the places that had the largest breakouts and spikes in numbers of cases are also the places where there's the most restrictions, the most heavily enforced mandates, etc., of masking and all this shit, and the highest percentages of juiced up individuals. It's again something I wish we could all ignore, but you can't, because problem reaction solutions, the way they do everything, they create the problem anyway. We know they did that, and that's funny too, right? I had this broken up into sections, but it never stays neat at all. It's hard to do that. This is funny too. The illegitimate senile president of the United States launched an investigation into the origins of this virus. It was announced today that using the strength of our intelligence community at the behest of the President of the United States to find out where this came from, once and for all, to get to the bottom of it. Inconclusive. They decided that it could be from a lab in China that was doing exactly that type of research. That could be what happened. It might be, but it could also be from a dude eating a bat in a food market. That's just as likely, they say. The entire strength of our intelligence community. Worth noting is that they were threatened as well by China to attach any responsibility to them. It's just a coincidence that they didn't, right? It ain't because they're afraid of China or influenced by them, is it? That wouldn't be why. They did give it as an option. It's not like they outright said it was ridiculously impossible. Meanwhile, we know it's proven in Fauci's emails, for instance, that this was funded even by taxpayer money and created. They designed this to gain a function research, as well as released it on the population. Knew about it in advance, had an event to plan and strategize how to best use it. Circling back to their strategy, problem, reaction, solution, how to best utilize this event to control further humanity and roll out some of the things they always wanted to do. Like, for instance, the only other thing, I've never seen them act like this before. That's worth noting. Before I say what I'm going to say, I'm not saying this compares. This is definitely apples and oranges. Just the last big propaganda situation I saw unfold was 9/11. I did so much setting that up that I forgot. I just wanted to make it clear. I wasn't comparing the two instances, just the propaganda itself and the way it was used. I've never seen it like it's being done before any other way. So that's the best example I could give to whatever point it was I was trying to make. What I was trying to say, though, with it is I don't remember. Shit. Hate that. I feel like it was decent, at least what I was getting at. The point I was trying to make is they won't admit they designed it. I got lost in trying to say that. The Afghanistan attack. That's something that we'll probably need to talk about too. The attack at the Kabul airport, where all that is going on. I don't know. You must smash them shits. And Aaron, you're right, man. You're right. Although Facebook will put you in their little jail if you do it more than like 30 something times. I usually share the show about 30 times. It's my show. Of course I do. But yeah, you can't share too many times, I don't think. You're dangerous. It's just unbelievable to me, Shawn, that there's so much evidence against that one particular man, just for example, Fauci, connecting him to this. And nothing. Miletta says, why would one country or culture or one way of life be responsible for something bigger than all of us? That makes it obvious the little people didn't start the fire. And I was talking about the theater of it all. And it is. We happen to have our own, but everyone is dealing with this, especially this certain topic, worldwide. It's being used. Part of a global agenda, and it's being used to move that forward as well. It's craziness. Marie said that she said this weekend is when the Afghanistan false flag are here, there's checked off, we will see a 20th anniversary display. I don't even know if they need to do it anymore. Some of this I wonder if they even need to do. Or are they just sitting in a room spitballing ideas? Like, will they believe this? Do you think? Will this work? Everything works. Nothing misses. Every little bullshit story they push on the people, they'll believe it just because they want to. And it is the little people that will get crucified for this if we don't pull together and unite. That's what I was saying earlier. The point I was trying to make is this will continue to move forward unless we take leadership roles in our community and put a stop to it. Say no. Make it known why we're saying no. More people will say no with us. It'll encourage and enable them. They're just mostly scared to stand up for themselves even. Some people are just going along with this shit for peer pressure. Miletta says that the only variants or variables are elements of an experiment. That part makes it evident that we are the test subjects. And while we don't comply, those that do are being allowed to lead this forward. And we got to stop doing that. We really do. You can't let these idiots be empowered anymore. It's got to start hurting to be stupid. And that's on us. That's on us. Everybody else is going to pat them on the back for doing it. You got to make them feel bad. Expose them for being stupid. Because even the ones that really don't like these people either, and they're getting on their nerves too, they're just going to be quiet all the time. They want somebody to say this shit, but they're never going to say it. So you got to say it. Can't keep waiting on others or a leader. Because every one of those, including Trump, who is getting very rich off this shit right now too, and benefiting from it, is just a stuffed suit puppet. They're not really running anything. Lori said it takes time to unite, though. People are uniting, but you have to go find your right group and be extremely discerning. Uniting a country of people is no easy task. Yes and no. Okay, because I think what you're describing is more of a situation where ultimately you have a leader at the top. Like, just by saying group, that implies breaking up into a section and having a hierarchy in some way. You don't need any of that, any of it at all. You know, I don't know why we get stuck there and why we feel that we do, but you really don't. I don't think. I think that we can do this and work together individually in our own ways as one, just by being leaders in our individual lives, taking ownership in real world situations. That's just going to do so much. I don't think we need one group that's like, okay, these are the 17 things that we're worried about and we're going to work on. And we're going to unite and work on these things together, united as one. That's not exactly what I'm saying. It's not really what I'm saying. Like, to use our enemy as an example of this, you have all these different entities working as one, united, in various different ways, but behind one belief system and one ultimate goal. They each have individual goals, things that they might want to do, or pet projects even, but they're ultimately united. That is what I'm talking about. That can be done without individual groups. And even while you're in them, you can even be in a group that you're very passionate about, and you can have 17 things that you want to focus on, and you can do all that. And that's okay, because it's going to take all of that. You see, it's necessary anyway. We're talking about changing a whole society, and it is a way that it took it thousands of years to become. So there's going to be a need for various methods. And I don't see why they can't all work together, really, ultimately. Same way the enemy works together, in my opinion. And Danon likes it. So far we got 2 votes for what I just said. Hey, Nissa, how are you? Hot Springs? That sounds nice. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds nice. Shawn says, so many people say they know it's bullshit, but what can I do? Stop complying, join together for a start, but most are just lazy. I can't disagree with that, Shawn. I can't disagree with that. But again, we don't need them, most of them at all, really. And we don't need them and can't save them even. Like Paul would say, leave the dead to bury the dead. It's kind of where we're at with a lot of them. It's the ones that you can help, the ones that want to be helped, or can see and hear the information and accept it, or be open to it. Those. And as far as what you're doing, it would just be little things, nothing big even. I'm talking about simple shit, like in your regular life. Times you would be quiet, for instance. Don't point shit out. When you see something wrong, instead of looking away, maybe ask yourself if there's something you can do. Go a step further than you usually do. Little bitty things. Those add up and are big. And then there'll also be groups, like what Lori was talking about, that have a focus, and those are great too, as long as that doesn't stop you from your ultimate power. Tracy says 9/11 is coming up. That's true. It is soon. They do love that number combination. And she adds that another false flag to take the eyes off of more important matters: bankrupting our nation, missing children, trafficking, the border, recall election, all this shit, any of it, pick your poison, really. The magician always distracts their audiences. So, yeah, I can't say there's not red flags lining up. And I don't know what they'll do. Like I said, I'm numb to a lot of it anymore. Right, Dan, and that's what I'm saying. She gets it, I think. Standing your ground, speaking up, being brave, it will empower others to do the same. things like this. And you might not have. And you might not even be talking to me with this comment. But this is what I do with them, because what happens is all of them get pulled into the studio here on StreamYard. And it really doesn't show me if you're replying to someone else, what you're talking about, what context it's in. So I just do my best with it. And if I misquote you, it's never intentional. Hey, Roseanne, how you doing? All right, well, if you guys will allow it, I got to take a brief break. But while we're taking this break, I want to show you something. A lot of you may be working on a sweet t-shirt collection, or you love coffee, but you're like, I got no great coffee mugs. I got an answer for all that at the Shawn Yankey Show merchandise store. So check this out. I'll be right back. Hey, while you got a minute, let me talk to you. Do you have excellent taste? Do you love cool t-shirts? Then you need some sweet Shawn Yankey Show swag. And do I have just the place for you? The official Shawn Yankey Show merchandise store. Your home for the best t-shirts, stickers, and cool official Shawn Yankey Show swag around. Check out this sweet tee. Or this premium stylish hoodie. What about this sweet coffee mug? Support our shows and help us grow in style at the Shawn Yankey Show merchandise store. Stick around. Shawn will be right back, and there's more show to come. All right. Thank you for that. I had to check on Bama. And by the way, anybody that's worried about her, a long time ago, we were talking about this a lot because it had just happened. She got hit by a car a while back. She's completely fine again. And even that skin condition that got aggravated because of her stress, that's all cleared up too. So she's doing great. But she was scratching at the door. I had to address it. I like the music in that, Joan, but I got to make a new one because I've made probably 5 more t-shirts since that commercial was made, and I want to show them. I made a new one at one point, but then I accidentally deleted a shit ton of videos. I was trying to clean up the computer. I've been told 100 times to back that shit up, but I didn't. And I had it in a folder that I accidentally deleted, along with a lot of old original conspiracy theories and chill videos. So, but let's get back on track somehow here. What are you upset about? What is bothering you? I was going to attempt talking about the juice agenda, the fear propaganda agenda behind it. It's just, like I said, or tried to say, I don't care about it anymore. I know what it is. I know what they're trying to do. I see it for what it is, but I also have followed it to its logical conclusion and where it's going to go and how you're going to need this to do literally anything. They're wanting you to have these passports to travel inside the United States by airplane, not just to travel internationally, which is already going on, and even more than that, much, much more behind this that they're trying to do. The same way they've gotten everything done ever, which is by deceitful means. And then they get you to give them power they don't have, an authority they don't have. Shawn says the UK said they ain't backing America in any more wars because supposedly when they left Kabul, they never informed the UK forces and we was left on the ground vulnerable. And all I hear is China, China, China. I hope we ain't going with them because we're too small to be a superpower on our own. So they're saying they're not backing the United States anymore, is what Shawn's saying. And I wouldn't blame them because apparently we did. What happened there is incompetence, also on level with what went on in 9/11. To an unbelievable level, though. I've never seen shit like this ever. And people are calling for, rightfully so, Joe Biden to be court-martialed for what's going on there, not just impeached or removed from office. And it's criminal. It's being said more and more and more. And you can't deny it. It clearly is. There's still thousands of civilians trapped. And all this was orchestrated. Because they are, CJ's right. They are all puppets. And they have the same puppeteers with the same agenda. It's rolling forth rapidly right now. And this was planned. Is anybody buying that was all just left there on accident, for instance, all that hardware? I was watching videos today of just piles of money, American U.S. currency, $100 bills, stacks of them, just chunks of these stacks of $100 bills that high on a table that wrapped all the way around the room. It was like 6 layers deep. Left there. Why? What for? Why would there be piles of money? Pallets of money, $100 bills, and all this weaponry. Just leave and walk away from it. That's all your money, by the way, taxpayer money. He does, but for one, that's his only role, is to be a front man and to do unspeakable things, and have no consciousness about it, no even knowledge for a lot of it that he's even doing it. And they'll do anything behind him. I was watching the speaker, her name, I forget her name, but I was wondering, what's it like to do her job right now? To back this shit up, what they just did there, just in Afghanistan, for instance. To have to support and talk about even that shit. How you doing, Damien? Seen some new names tonight. I like that. I like when I see new peeps. That's cool. Let me check Rumble again. Oh, Milan says it's going to devastate a lot of parents who will lose their children to this experiment. Man, I don't even want to think about all that, really. You're right, though. And some of the projections that I've seen people talk about are frightening, of what the fatality rate from the medical experiment itself may end up being. Man, Alice, we never went nowhere, though. That's what frustrates me. And that's also what scares me about being deplatformed on some of these places. See, Alice goes way, way back. This channel that we're on YouTube right now, for instance, is actually our old channel. We were using it because the third channel we set up for this show got put in YouTube jail for medical misinformation about the juice. So we went back to the old channel. This channel that we're on has 1,000 subscribers. It was the one we built up the most. And Alice always watched us there. Well, when we got banned from live streaming over there for a little while, we made a new channel and no one came. Well, not no one, but maybe half. And then that channel got banned. And we went to the third channel. Almost no one did. That channel only had 40 subs. We went from having 1,000 to 40. We never stopped doing shows that entire time. So that's what worries me about building up on a platform and then having it wiped. For instance, Podbean, where me and Paul do our podcast, where we put the Morning Yank for the podcast version. I want to switch to Anchor because it's free. But if I cancel Podbean, every episode gets deleted immediately. And I'm like, I can still get to most of them, but I'm like, it sucks. I'd rather they still existed and lived on. But I don't know if that means everywhere that they are, they'll also be deleted, but probably does. You thought I got whacked? Well, not yet. Not yet. Yeah, it's been going on the entire time. I'll link you up with the other channels, or somebody help me with that. But yeah, we never stopped. Just have to keep shucking and jiving, you know, like finding new platforms like Rumble. They just added live streaming. I just found out about it anyway, and we got in on the beta. We're trying it out. Anything that we can do. Well, yeah, I know that, Joan. As I said before, they seek these people out for these positions. She was chosen for her ability to do that job. I was just saying, what's it got to be like doing it? Backing up this bullshit, having to justify it, you know? Because people used to give Sarah Sanders, whatever her name was, so much shit when she really wasn't having to talk about much other than the fake media trying to twist shit around. This one's trying to sell atrocious stuff and back it up. It's crazy. And somehow blame it on Trump even. It's a tough job. She should make twice as much money as what they usually get paid, because having to bullshit this and explain it. Aaron says that we don't need a goal or a solution, no leaders or followers. We need to unite as the people for the people. He gets it too. He gets it. It's simple. It's so simple that it slips by you sometimes. Sandy says we built China up with our material once. Now Russia and China are watching us closely as we back out of Afghanistan, and that combination is worrisome also, as if we don't have enough against us already. But then, as well, keep in mind, globally it's theater too, because the people that pull the strings, the puppeteers that CJ was talking about, they're global. They have a global agenda. They work together again, remember that. So they wanted China built up. They wanted them in the place they're at. They wanted everything that's going on to be going on. They fund both sides of every war. They guide every agenda. So what's happening is exactly what they want to happen. Maybe they're setting them up to be the next superpower. They don't give a shit who it is, by the way. And they've outright told you that. They don't care who's number one, who's top dog, who's running the world, who's pulling the strings as far as the people are concerned, because they ain't who's really doing it anyway. They don't give a shit. So maybe they are. Maybe they'll be the next superpower. We're going to fall. Our way of life, the way we know it in America, is going to change dramatically. I don't think that's even questionable at this point. No matter how you look at it, it's the writing's on the wall. So who knows where it'll be. I kind of feel like we'll still be the muscle of the global agenda. That's really all we are, though, if you break us down essentially to the bottom of it all. We're just the muscle, the military arm of the global establishment. I don't know if we'd lose that status. Well, maybe. maybe what we'll do, you know how we have all those bases in the Middle East? What if we just walked away from all of our shit? Maybe that's what we'll do. And then that's how there will be a new superpower, military superpower, by us just abandoning our hardware. Oh, thank you for sharing the link to Rumble. I'm real excited about the possibilities Rumble opens up, because what I hear is they don't censor. And I don't really want to get my hopes up too much, but that's really good news, because that is a big, big problem. The censorship that goes on. Very big problem. And it's been very frustrating working against it, I can tell you that. It's been hard. Mentally, psychologically. But it's meant to be. You know, I am excited about the possibilities of that platform, Rumble. So. Oh, Dana says Facebook logged her out. I've had that happen so much with people around this show in particular. And even when I'm doing replays, me and Joan afterwards like to watch it back. A lot of times it's new to me. And I get kicked sometimes multiple times. It's weird. Electronic throttling is what I always call it. You know, who knows how much of that's imagined and real, because they do have complete access to your devices because you gave them permission too. If you have any of these games or shit on your phone or any of that shit, that's where they hide the permissions at, and you gave them permission. Full access to your devices. But Aaron's right. When you boil it down to its essentials, he's absolutely right. He only needs what is provided. Greed and dependency has manipulated the world into puppetry. And the sadder thing is that everything has been provided. There's no need for scarcity in the world and suffering that goes on. A lot of it is manufactured and designed. And what's behind it is greed and fucking psychopaths. I don't either, Dana. I don't either. This is an agenda. It's a plan, and it's been in motion a very long time. And if you just simply follow the money, trace the money back, you find that this agenda has been in power for a very long time. When you control the money, you control everything, and they control it all. At this point, they even control resources. So the only thing that can stop them is humanity realizing the truth that their hold over us is an illusion, and they're the few and we are the many. It doesn't even take that many of us to unite. I think smarter people than me that are better at math decided it was somewhere around 3.5%, but I think we have way more than that already. Don't need a single other person. But there's plenty of people that would join us if they were empowered a bit. If we made more of an example in our daily lives. Aaron says that he's mad that these lawyers are so weak and refuse to uphold the law as known and written. Well, from what I'm coming to understand more and more, it was written to be manipulated. It was written for these vipers to use against us. Murdering psychopaths. CJ, you're right. He's exactly right. You really can't say it any better than that. That's what they are. And they don't care. And they have no empathy for you. They don't even consider you human. They'll do anything. That's the ultimate message that I want to leave everybody with anyway. I know we're bitching and complaining, and that's great. That's what we're supposed to do on Rant Night. But in the end, we are the ones with the power, and any of it that we have given them, they only have it because we gave it to them. But we can take it away. "100%. Every single one. Every single one. You will never see me backing one of these political puppets again. And if you catch me doing it, call me on my bullshit, because every single one. CJ, I think even the good intentioned ones. I don't think you start off being a fucking evil bastard, not every one of them, but any of them that rise to any position of power or prominence have been handpicked. Every one of them. Jones says judges just refuse to allow into court anything that they don't want to hear. That's a problem too, and they're bought off. This whole damn system. You're right though, Shawn. There is an awakening going on all over the world. Matter of fact, there are huge protests and uprisings against what's happening. Against all this bullshit happening around the world. And it's not being reported in the United States, but a lot of countries, France, for instance, is doing a great job of standing up against what's going on. There's a lot of people awake and aware to what's happening, that are at least realizing that they're being lied to and screwed over on a massive scale. We don't need any more people. We just need to unite the ones that we've got, at least on the core concept of what's going on and what needs to be done to stop it. Just stop consenting and accepting their bullshit. All we gotta do is enough of us do that. That's it. It's so simple. It doesn't hurt a damn thing, Danon. She said your eyes must be wide open in these times. It really don't. It's a good way to be. Just open minded. I'm not saying believe everything you hear in any way, but be open to things. Be open to being wrong, especially. Shouldn't just disregard everything, especially in circumstances where it may interfere with something you've come to believe for that reason alone. Shawn says he's even seen judges refuse to look at evidence which he thought was illegal. Hell, it may be. It may be. I don't fully understand the law, but like I said, I've been hearing more and more, and it seems to be true that it's really designed to screw you over. It seems like it to me. As a layman, there's so much doublespeak in it. For instance, in deception used in that practice. It's hard to deny it. Tracy said almost everything we see is a lie. And that's demonstratively true as well. I keep going checking on Rumble. I'm worried about it. It's our new baby. It's only our third show over there, but it's going really good. I like it. It does take a little bit for the replay to be watchable. Last night took almost an hour and a half. But again, it's still new. I think they're going to really polish out a lot of it, and it's going to be a good home for us because it's doing pretty good. We're getting some attention over there already. Our subscribers are going up on the Rumble channel, and welcome to all the new subscribers. And it's already getting views, and I'm happy with it. So it's going to be good. And I think that they'll eventually partner with StreamYard, for instance, what we use, so that your comments will pull in, and I won't have to check and double back. I just don't want them to feel ignored, especially since they're new. New peeps are always great. And you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I've been worrying about Rumble a lot. That's why I keep darting over. Shawn's talking about a march in London, over 1 million people, and it did nothing except wake a few more people because it didn't even make the news. The revolution will not be televised. That's not just a cute little saying. It's true. They're not going to point cameras and give attention to meaningful things. People see it, though. It mattered and it meant something. And much more people were awakened by it and empowered by it, which is maybe even more important, inspired by it too, than you realize, even though the media didn't report it. But they're never gonna. You can't change what they are. Like I was saying before, they're what they always have been, and they do what they do. They're what they're designed to do, even what they're made for. We just need to, it's okay. And again, this is rant night. This night is designed for complaining. It's okay to bitch and moan. And it's all right to expose it and make people aware of all these things. But it's also necessary that we take action, especially now. It's crucial, really, at this point. Shawn says fed up of MSM, mainstream media, calling us anti-juice. But we're not anti-juice. We're against this experimental medical procedure being forced and wanting to keep our freedoms. There's so many examples you can give. Like, an interesting point is these nurses, for example, that are losing their jobs because they won't do it. They don't want to be part of a medical experiment. They were heroes not that long ago. I remember where I work, we were giving them free coffee and breakfast sandwiches because they were so crucially important, and we were taking all kinds of celebratory moments on different shows to talk about how great they were and what heroes they were and how inspiring that what the work they were doing was. Now we're throwing them out on their faces and on their ass because they won't do this and don't want to go along with it. It's interesting to me. And that's a way of forcing someone. People keep saying, and I keep hearing it, you're not being forced. Yes, you are. That is a hard choice. If I'm a nurse at a hospital, for example, and I've been there 15 years, and I have all these relationships, and I've invested all this time, that's a really hard choice to make. Dan says she believes in getting your frustration out, and rant night is essential. It is. It's sometimes hard to keep hold of, though, you know, especially if you really ever get real passionate about a topic. Sometimes I'll do that and then get lost. I gotta forget where I was, especially trying to keep track of comments at the same time. Right? Well, that would be cool. And I could actually pull that off. I don't think you're that far from me. Aaron said, meet at my house. We can bonfire, barbecue, and take out a tower of popcorn, is what he means. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. It would be really neat to hang out. And what would even be cooler than that is to like get a compound and go off grid, do something like what Gerard's doing, and build a community of our own and just unplug from all this bullshit. That would be amazing. Tracy says that by design, no or little medical pros, depopulation, dead end, don't need doctors. Well, it's a little weird, isn't it? Don't you think this is going to create massive staffing issues at hospitals all across the country? Why aren't they worried about that? We're in a scary pandemic, right? Well, why are we firing so many experienced medical professionals in a crucial time? We were just talking about how overworked and overfull our hospital were and how treatment was so scarce because of it. It's not even good theater. Remember I was talking about it's like a shitty B movie with terrible writing. It's hard to even pay attention to anymore. And just it's gotten to be where it's like, you remember on Charlie Brown when the adults would be talking? I see that it's going on. A couple times I tried to look into the Kabul airport incident actually for you guys, and I don't know, man. Because every time I see something, I'm like, okay, well now I gotta ask 60 other questions. Like, is this fake? Is this video even real? And at least other things. I don't believe anything these people tell me anymore, so I don't really focus on it or pay much attention to it. Dana says Nebraska's hiring nurses. No juice needed and bonuses. Nice. Right, but what I'm saying is you're firing all these medical professionals at a time when they are essential. Makes very little sense. And the fact that anybody's buying this bullshit agenda blows me away. But a lot of them are not going to be able to help. This is what you need to know. And also that we don't need to. Really. I used to really worry that we did. I don't think we do. I think there's enough of us if we just work together. Coerced is a better way of saying it. You're right. Technically, coerced is right. It's not technically being forced, just like we're not technically being censored. Even though it's proven now that the government is doing it through these social media companies, you're not technically being censored. And you're not technically being forced. But you can't fly inside the United States, for example, without it, or internationally at all. And in some places, go to the grocery store. That's kind of being forced. Yeah. Again, you could grow your own food, do all that yourself. You're not technically being forced. So you're right. We should use coerced, just so we don't have to deal with that nitpicky bullshit. Well, I don't know. They don't seem worried about that, though, do they, Joan? Where I work, we had to go to shortened hours because we're so understaffed. And Joan's saying they're going to have a hard time getting any workers for any jabs as soon as these mandate deadlines come up. This is insane, all of it. Some of it's hard to follow, really, especially if you're following it out to its logical conclusions. I've never seen him act this way. Exactly, though. Aaron's right. Your skills are needed elsewhere and appreciated. You can go other places, like Joan mentioned. What did you say, Joan? Nebraska. It was Dana, Nebraska. You can go there if you're a nurse. I could go to a different restaurant if they were to ever mandate me or force me, try to force me, coerce. Right, though, Tracy. It's all part of their plan, and it's a global agenda, and it's a plan that we're all familiar with, and we know the ins and outs of, and we know where it's going. So I'd just like to see us do our part to stop all of it. We could, we can, we should. But I want to remind everybody to come back tomorrow night. Nick Stinson's coming back. And it's been a long time. I'm really looking forward to talking to Nick. And I'm sure Nick's going to have a lot of opinions on what's going on with this agenda and all that. So for sure, this will be being discussed tomorrow. But anything at all Nick wants to talk about, we're going to get into it. As always, I always let the guests go where they want. And we just kind of learn from them. It's their floor. And then the week after that, Ty will be back. Theorist George, Ty will be coming back to the show. And you're going to be seeing more Ty. He's going to be making a regular appearance. Every other week is what we've committed to at this point. So for a while, you're going to be seeing a lot more Ty. So that'll allow us to get deeper into certain things and all kinds of things it's going to allow. But the first of that will be the week after Nick. We'll come back tomorrow for Nick. That's going to be cool. Aaron says, met a lady today whose brother owned an Omaha store and shot a looter. He got 100 years jail time and ended up taking his own life. He thought he was preserving life and liberty. You know, I've heard, I've not looked into it myself because I don't even own a gun. Babas is against it. But I've heard that a lot of people get screwed in those situations. You know, they feel like they'll be okay. But I found, or heard rather, that you'd be surprised. Hey, Craig, how are you? Hey, just out of curiosity, what time is it there? You're watching from Australia, right? What time is it where you are? I used to do a show with an Australian guy named Jason Alborn, and I really miss that dude. Thankfully, we are back in touch, but I got to get him back on. I miss hanging out and talking with that guy. I did a little show with him called Yankey and the Aussie, and it used to blow me away that when it was like 5 o'clock here, I lost track of what the time difference actually is, but it'd be like morning time there. He just finished having breakfast, you know, starting his day. I'm winding mine down. It was weird to me. That shit is neat. Aaron says you have to know and understand the escalation of force. Also, Army taught me deny, and then make counter accusations. It's 10:30 a.m. right there in Australia right now. Right on. Or you might not have been talking about right now. I don't know. It's cool though. It's interesting to me. What do you guys want to talk about and get into? Anything at all? Anything you want to say before we wrap up tonight or rant about? I don't know if I fully got everything out that I wanted to even talk about. It's tough to figure it out. And like I was saying at the beginning, I didn't really want to talk about all the bullshit. It's 2 a.m. in England, for instance. That's where Shawn is. That's why he hasn't been here as of late. Finally got some work, though. Right on. It's 2 a.m.? Man, that's late. I don't ever stay up that late anymore. I used to do that when I was younger. I used to stay up really late and sleep till like noon or 1. Now I can't. I never stay up any later than about 10, 11 o'clock. And I'm up no matter what, no matter when I go to bed at like 5 a.m. every day. I never sleep past that. I don't even need to set an alarm. I still do, but I don't need it. Aaron says, talk about who or what you think is really controlling the world. Me personally? Are you asking my personal opinion? Well, I mean, I think the world is being led by a Luciferian agenda, by an interlinked connection of bloodlines that have been running things behind the scenes for thousands of years, supporting both sides of every conflict. They own everything. And who they are by name, I don't really have a lot of that in front of me. You can find it, again, by tracing money all the way up. But people like Rothschilds, big names like that, who knows who has actual seats at the table? They'll probably be the heads of these families, these bloodlines that everything traces back to. But who knows who's really in the meeting rooms themselves? I always feel like that's a weird and unsafe place to get pulled into because I don't know any of that shit. I'd be pulling everything I said about it out of my ass as far as giving individual entities. But their agenda is clear, I think. And most of these groups that you trace this shit back to, it's part of their own agenda as well, their public agendas. So that's really hard to dispute. Names and statuses, though, is tough to do and pin down. Shawn asked or said, those who own the Vatican and the rooms underneath and all the hidden shit there, and that's a whole subject itself too. But they are a person you had mentioned earlier. You would trace back who's running things. They would be an entity that's running a lot of things, but they're working for someone else. It keeps going up and up and up. It depends on where really you want to stop. The head of the snake, interdimensional beings, in my opinion. And they're working for these entities. I don't know. Kind of getting weird with it now. I overcomplicate shit lately. I'm doing that with everything. Like we're supposed to do this Montauk project, for instance. I'm making it so complicated. All I got to do is break off something. I have a bunch of things I want to cover, like the Montauk chair, the Montauk monster, all kinds of different things. I just pull one off and do it. That's it. It's simple. Why can't I do that? I got to keep going. Well, what about this? And man, let me look into this too. And go into 12 rabbit holes instead of doing anything productive. Become my own worst enemy with that shit. Gotta get my ADHD under control. Alice says reptilians. But again, in my opinion, would be referencing these interdimensional beings, the same type of beings I'm referencing. They definitely do worship dark stuff and practice in the occult, but specifically are Luciferian. That's their agenda. That's their belief system. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight, and I really appreciate you guys. I'm having a lot of fun tonight. I wish that we could go longer, honestly, but I do have to turn the studio, back over to Babel's and give it back to her. And she's doing a little better, by the way. Not a whole lot, not as much as I wish, but better, which is good. And thanks everybody for watching tonight. And make sure to come back tomorrow for Nick. Nick Stinson will be our guest tomorrow night. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of it.